I'm a painter, yeah. If I had to give up one, I would give up collage. But I don't have to give up one. Yay. All I'm trying to do is make a living thing. That's the criteria, a degree of resolution and animation and visual interest that makes it compelling. And I don't know how to get there every time. Every time I get lost. I think in a way it's a documentation of thought and also feeling. It's the residue of thought and feeling. That's what the piece is. And I spend a lot of time just looking and trying crazy things. Like, I know this isn't going to work, but sometimes you put something down and it's amazingly great. You know, it's that the beauty of collage is improvisation comes so easily with collage. You have the option to move things around, to correct by gluing over. You can tear or cut edges. I like this shape, but I don't like that color there. You're lucky if you can be fascinated by such a banal enterprise. Finding your way through the piece as you make it, it has to be that way. I think improvisation demands that. If you're an improvisational artist, you really have to surrender to being lost and being, I guess, brave enough or patient enough to kind of work through the frustration of being lost for a long time. I think that abstract shapes are extremely expressive. And because we draw analogies to things like a slinky curve versus a rigorous angle, all human beings who have experience moving through the world transfer that experience to their reading of two-dimensional surfaces. Look at this red, isn't that perfect? I like each piece to have its own sort of emotional valence. And to me, that kind of expression is really rooted so much in color. So like this one, I decided to make it as white as I could and keep it as white as I could and see what I could do with like subtle nuance within that. I like them to have different personalities. Related like a family by some essential DNA, which would be my sensibility, but at the same time, distinctive one from the other. I love brown. It's one of my favorite colors. And as I was doing it, it reminded me of like a monk's cloak, like those, I guess it was wool, like Friar Tuck or something, would wear. And I'm painting it and I'm thinking, this reminds me of a monk's coat. I'm painting the picture and stuff. In the meantime, I'm listening to Thelonious Monk. I don't listen to music usually, but I was listening when I was doing the underpainting for this. So I ended up calling it Monk for both reasons. When you have two ideas, you really got to go with it, right? So this is going to be a large collage. And I usually start by covering the whole piece with newspaper, and then I'll paint it all one color so that I will have breakups. And then I start bringing in the real color and the real shapes and building up from there. I love to read the newspaper. Every lunch I read it. And I like the idea that humanity and history and what's going on is embedded in my work, even though my work is not political. But I just feel like there's this interface with quotidian reality that you wouldn't know just looking at an abstract image. What's nice about now is there's so many venues of exposure and there's so many artists doing so many different things that it's hard to argue that there's only one way to work. The argument is basically to find your voice and exercise it. And then you'll be all right. You don't have to worry about being the caboose on the freight train of art history.